Good evening, everyone. Can we please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Thursday, April 25th Town Board meeting. Kathy, could we get a roll call?
Yes. Councilman Cypress?
Here.
Councilman Larka?
Here.
Councilwoman Lewis? Here. Councilman Mazzata?
Here.
Supervisor Durante?
Here. I'd like to make a motion, I'm sorry, just to warn you, there are exits behind us here to the right, to your left, and to your right in the back of the building. Please put all electronic devices on vibrate. I'd like to make a motion to come out of the executive session with no action taken.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved. I'd like to make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So our public hearing tonight is changes to Chapter 83 Historic Sites. Is there anyone here to speak on that? Does anyone from the board?
I'll just briefly say what it was about.
Yep.
So we're just looking to change our town code to allow the Historic Sites Commission to change it from having 45 days to review an application to 60 days to review an application.
From the time they've received a
From the-
completed
Yes,
application.
sir.
Okay.
Yeah. Do we need to vote on that, or?
No,
It's just, no one's here, you just close the public.
Move to close the public hearing.
All right, so then I'll make a motion to close the public hearing with a 5-day comment period.
The second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All right, so today in the work discussion, we have one item. It's the procurement policy updates. I believe that maybe, Alex, you might want to start that conversation?
Sure, be happy to. So we explored, exploring a review of the town procurement policy, and it hadn't had any revisions in some time, so we wanted to make sure we brought it up to date with current statutes. So just as a summary of what the changes made, I went through the document, made sure that the current bidding statutes were, and thresholds were included in the document. Much of the document is just referencing out state statute, and it's just brought forward into the document, so a lot of it relating to, exceptions to bidding laws and items like that have just been brought into the document directly. We have some internal policies or procedural items that have been included in draft form that I'd like to, have a conversation with the board about and review, and we can make a determination whether we want to introduce some more set policy and procedures in the way in which we follow and work administratively. So there's some language about that as well. We also, for those items that fall below the bid thresholds, it requires quoting. So just like you would do at home and most, families would do, you would get quotes before you hire a contractor to do any work. So the same expectation of the town here as well. For a certain dollar amount, you would have one quote. Over another threshold amount, it would be 3 quotes. And then when you exceed the bid thresholds, you would have to do competitive bid as per statute. So I put some suggested quoting thresholds in the document, so for the board to review and consider as well. And then for instance, I'll just give you an example. For the purchase of supplies and materials, what I put in the document was from a $0 to $2,999, you would need 1 ring quote. from $3,000 to $20,000, 3 written quotes. And then when you exceed $20,000, you have to do a bid, and that's per statute. For public works projects, which are more labor-related, different thresholds. You would have from $0 to $9,999, you'd have 1 written quote. From $10,000 to $35,000, you'd have to secure 3 written quotes. And then when you exceed $35,000 by statute, you have to go out to competitive bid. So these are some things that we as a board should consider, whether we think they're reasonable and we want to institute here in the town for part of our policy. I also included some language that whenever the town may be eligible to use federal funding, the federal government requires a different set of criteria in which you could expend those funds. So I introduced some language that the federal government requires of any entity receiving their funding that you have to follow. So I just put that language and brought it forward to the agreement as well, because we would be bound by it. And that's a summary. So I think it brings us up to date to 2024 to follow and match our New York State bidding thresholds. And it introduces some items for us to consider as well to maybe make us a little bit more efficient in how we do things internally. So if there's any questions from the board, discussion items?
Thank you, Alex.
No, thanks for the hard work on it.
Yeah, again, thank you, Alex. Yeah, I think the only thing that we're gonna need to figure out is a lot of this that he drafted is designed to run through a central person that we don't have.
Yeah.
So we need to figure out who that, we don't have a director of purchasing, so, who that central person will be.
Can we use our accountant for that, do you think?
I don't have the answer, but
Yeah.
it's
It's a possibility.
it's the one thing we gotta figure out. But other than that, it definitely needed to be updated, and I appreciate Alex's work.
Yeah, thank you very much, Alex. It's a lot of work, as we all know. No one else needs to speak of it?
I have no other comments.
All right. Okay, so, again, thank you, Alex, very much. I'd like to make a motion to open the regular meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So, our regular meeting will start with our correspondence. I'll move to waive the reading of the correspondence.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to make a motion to approve our voucher list for the month. It's $1,140,253.65. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to move to waive the readings on the budget transfers.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Our next item would be, I'd like to make a motion to set the meeting dates and public hearings for the month.
I get to read them. Looks like there's a typo there.
Yeah, it looks like it's out of order, but the other.
Yeah. All meetings will be held at 1360 Route 22, Brewster, New York, at 7 PM unless otherwise noted. First meeting's Thursday, May 9th, 2024. Second is Thursday, May 30th, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So next, we have a supervisor's report. So
The motion, you need to make a motion to set the public hearing for the Star Ridge.
Yeah, there's a little out of order here.
Okay, well,
It's not.
Yeah, it's
but
the
not
next
on the
one.
consent.
Do you want me to do that now?
it should be,
Yeah,
when
okay.
you're setting the meetings, you
Okay,
should set the
okay.
public hearing.
Um,
Sorry. I
Yes,
should have
because
picked
we
that
have to choose that date. Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to set a public hearing for the Star Ridge Water District on May 9th?
May.
May.
May
No, it's
30th,
May
I'm sorry.
30th.
Okay, so that would be May 30th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Now you could go to 5.
Yeah, so we'll go back up and take care of the supervisor's report. So I actually did write something out, because sometimes I tend to talk too much and forget some of the items I'd like to talk about. So it's very brief, but I just felt it would be a better situation. So, excuse me. Excuse me. It's been 2 months since I've been fulfilling my duties as supervisor. I have to say, it was kind of like driving down Route 312 in a school bus with no seatbelt on. I'll say at this point, though, I may be on the Carmel side of the road. It's a little smoother over there. The past 2 weeks have really helped me understand more of how this is an honor than it is a job to be in this position and how important it is. I'm learning more and more each day of the responsibilities I must adhere to so that the job is done correctly. To all involved, I thank you for your patience and your input to help us all move in the right direction. I believe as a board, we're coming together and we are headed in the same direction for the town. The town's lucky to have this board, our attorney, our town clerk. As a taxpayer and a resident of Southeast, I know I'm happy that we have these people running the show. I also appreciate all the work that the town employees do on a daily basis. So as we move further into the second quarter, our financial situation is moving well. There have been some challenges with some of the improvements we are trying to implement. We are holding tight and doing what's necessary to be fiscally responsible. There's a lot of movement with the rec department and our facilities department. We and Jared have a vision for our goals, and they're working with some board members to get those things accomplished in a timely manner. I spoke with Mike from the highway department today. His guys are working hard, and they're trying to push with this nice weather to get as much as they can done. So I just felt I wanted to share my thoughts a little bit. The next item on the regular meeting is a resolution to approve expenditure for infield groomer for the Parks and Recreation Department. So now therefore be it resolved that the Director of Parks and Registration is hereby authorized to expand an amount not to exceed $14,150 for the purchase of a used 2014 Toro Sand Pro Model 5040 infield groomer, including a grooming attachments for U-Gate Store, Inc. of Akron, New York. And be it further resolved that the Director of Parks and Recreation requires any additional funds above the amount allotted herein will need further authorization before making such an expenditure. And be it further resolved that this shall take effect immediately. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So at that point, we are actually through our meeting. We'd like to recognize anybody in the public that would like to come up and share some of their thoughts.
Okay, Mr. Durant, I talked to you twice. I'm Kathleen McBride. I
Hi,
live in
Kathleen.
Brewster Heights.
Thank you for
I
coming.
talked to you twice on the phone about my water problem. So what's going to happen? They have the storm drains on the wrong side of the road. Every time it rains, I have a flood in my backyard, which is causing erosion from my dirt, from my land. You told me Mr. Burdick was going to come by. He never came by.
I spoke with Mike today. He said he came by.
Well, either I wasn't there or what. I can't sit around waiting for people all the time. But what is the resolution? If everybody is working and fixing all the pipes up there, why isn't someone fixing my house before my house floods away?
Well, in the conversation we had, and I had with Mike, what Mike's telling me is that's rainwater. It's all rainwater from the hill behind your home.
That is not rainwater. The road is like this. They put the storm drains on this side of the road. So it doesn't go down the storm drains, it goes down my driveway. It goes down into the grass, down to the neighbor. Neighbor has water in his basement. Something is wrong. I guess we didn't get an engineer to do anything, because that would have cost money. So you're telling me that I should just get a lawyer then? Because Mike Burdick said that that's normal. That can't happen all the time.
I'm not telling you that, but what I will do is be sure that Mike comes to you when you're
Well,
around.
tell him to come when it rains, after it rains.
Okay,
But I mean, really, what am I supposed to do? You're gonna tell me that I have to live with that? Then I have to get a lawyer, because something is wrong somewhere. I never had this problem before. I mean, it's flooded with water down there.
Yeah, I understand. We've
But
been,
I have people that mow my lawn. What am I supposed to tell them? Don't mow it? I mean, come on.
I think probably,
Nothing is fixed up there. They haven't fixed any roads. They're up there fixing all the pipes that were never done before. It was all plugs put in. Where did all this money go? And then you want more money from me. You're raising my water bill, and you know what? I'm still buying bottled water. Who knows what color it is every day? Green, yellow, purple? They put all these chemicals in to cover up the dirt that's in the water? I mean, I'm upset because but I don't mean to be yelling at you. I know you have nothing to do with this, but tell Mike
do.
Burdick to come when it's raining and whatever, because I'm just gonna have to get a lawyer then, because this is not right. This never happened before. Now all of a sudden I got a pool in my backyard. My neighbor has water in his basement. So I'll have to tell him what you said, what Mike said, because he told me he's very calm. And he's like, well, when they get to it, they get to it. Well, they ain't getting to it. That's what I'm going to tell him. Thank you very much.
thank you for coming. We're sorry for your
Sorry,
inconvenience.
I'm not sorry. You just told me Mike said that I have to live with that. How do you not know your lawn? There's nothing wrong. The storm drains are perfectly fine on the other side of the road.
Does anyone else from the public want to speak? Hello.
Hi. I've spoken to you before. My name is Donna Dolce. I live at 2 Maplewood Drive in Brewster. I am here. I know I have sent a multitude of emails to the town board regarding the construction on 210 Dunsburg Road. Our yards are basically in each other's backyards. I'm just going to review the letter I wrote. There was a garage or a barn that was put up, and it's bigger and taller than the residence itself. It's commercial in nature. It's a 3-bay garage, and it has all lights around it, and it's going to be, I think it was supposed to be used for commercial purposes. The owner has a business, and there is lots going on. I know this is zoned residentially. There is, well, let me go through my letter. I spoke to you, Mr. Durante.
Yes.
You told me that the building department would be out. This was right before Easter. It was Good Friday. That the building department would be out on Monday to inspect the property, because there's lots of other things that were unpermitted that we couldn't turn a blind eye to anymore. So on Monday, I was home. I was out in my front yard speaking to my neighbor, because we're both in disbelief that this huge structure was able to go up in a residential area. And as we were talking in my front yard, we saw the building inspector pass, slow up at the property as he was passing, and that was it. Later that afternoon, he called me. We had a contentious conversation, as I stated in my letter. I don't know if you've all seen it. You should. But he called me, and when he said he inspected the property, I said, I hope that little drive-by was not an inspection. And he said, well, I could see the structure from the road. Okay, I waited home all day so that he would, you know. I'm very frustrated with the building department in this whole situation. Commercial use of this dwelling. Okay, so I stated in my letter that we feel that it was already starting to be used as a business. We had big box trucks going up in the dark, between 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, dropping off stuff. The owner would put it in his van, and he went with his work van. He parks one work van there. I had a conversation with the building inspector. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, there's a lot here. Who told me, well, he's allowed to park his vans in the garage, but he can't use it for commercial business, which doesn't make sense, because how would the workers come to get the vans? How would they drop them off? No, I'm very frustrated with the building department. I think something's very wrong, and I'm gonna leave it at that, with the way it's being handled from the building department. There's too many coincidences. When we complain, things are magically taken care of. The most recent one yesterday was my neighbor complained about an outhouse that was there that he had to look at with the building inspector. He said he wasn't even home an hour. Truck came up, took it away. I'm just gonna leave that at that. So I have a letter. It was a stop work order that was in the file. I filed a FOIL, 2 of them, and I'm filing another one tomorrow, where he had a notice of violation, a stop work order. But in there, it gave all possibilities for him to get a permit, special permits and conditional uses for home occupations. So can this be used as a business in a residential area? Because that's what's gonna happen. You have somebody who has no regard for the law, the codes, building codes, and then you're gonna give them a permit to use this, and then here an inch, you take a yard or a football field in this case. My yard is right there. I feel like my property value has plummeted since this structure went up. You told me he would get to me shortly after I wrote my letter. I have not heard from him. I don't want to hear from him. I'm fed up with him. I don't like the way he's handling this or not handling this. And what else? I know you have the pictures I sent you of the box trucks, yes? The letters, complaints. So, you know, I feel very, very let down. And like, I feel like this town is now protecting me. I've been a tax-paying resident since 1997. I moved my family here when they were younger for a better life, to get out of the city, to have a little country, and now I have, what, in my backyard? Almost forcing us to move. You know, and the way the building department is handling it, all these things that were done unpermitted, and it's just he has to like correct it, and he's forgiven, you know, get permits or whatever. So you're setting a precedent in this town, I feel. If I don't feel like I want this kind of driveway, but the town won't approve it, I'm just gonna do it, and then I'll just apply for a permit, and it'll just be like, oh, you're setting a precedent with this address. So everybody in the town of Southeast, beware, do what you want. I'm very, very frustrated with the town and how this is being handled. Okay, so that's it with 210. Secondly, I just want to say the property on Donsburg that had too many trees cut down, I get the letters because I'm right there too. So I'm getting it from all angles. I just want to know, he cut down in excess of 120 trees. Do you know how long it takes to cut down 120 trees? Where was anybody to monitor this? Sorry, my mouth is dry. Nobody was there to monitor this? How did this happen? Somebody's not doing their job. I'm really disappointed in this town. That's all I have.
Thank you for coming. Is anyone else from the public want to share? No? So I recognize anybody from the board that might want to say anything?
I have no comment.
I had a quick thing. This Saturday at 3 o'clock, the town historian and the Historic Sites Commission is having a dedication ceremony for a new historical marker at Old Southeast Cemetery on 22, just south of Ski House.
Thank you.
Actually, can I just say one more thing?
Sure.
Excuse me, you have to come to the mic for the recording, sorry.
Should have said, like, what can be done about this? Am I just too bad, Donna?
Got any input, Will?
We have a process in the town. We're trying to work through the process. Obviously, you're unhappy with the way this government is working, but it is the way all governments work, all towns work. You make a complaint about how the building inspector reacted to your complaint. He issued a notice of violation and an order to remedy. That's the procedure. If he fails to remedy what has been pointed out as the violation, he will end up getting a summons to appear in criminal court. That's the process.
Okay.
Anyone else from the board? I make a motion to close the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.